Welcome back to Everyday Tone. Today I want to talk to you guys about compound interest and how you decide if you're gonna let it work for you or against you. Ultimately, the choice is always yours. Compound interest is an essential concept for you to understand when learning to manage your finances and ultimately your life. Now let's talk about how compound interest works for you. How can compound interest work for you? We've all heard about stock markets, people buying something and going high and selling at the high and making millions of dollars or thousands or hundreds of dollars. Depends how much you invest, right? So whenever you use compound interest, compound interest is when you build on top of something and on top of something and on top of something. We discussed this previously whenever I talked about stocks, and I used the metaphor. It's like building a house. You go brick by brick. That is compounding. That is compound interest. So when you buy every month, you buy a little bit of stocks, you're building on top of the little bit that you had. That is compounding. And then some stocks will pay you a dividend, which compounds even further. So that's good compound interest. But let's talk about real life situations, such as when you make wiser decisions every single day. Like going to the gym, whenever you start, you don't have that much strength. And every single time that you go and you hit that bench, boom, boom, you do that chest exercise. Every single time you get a little stronger. This week I'm still doing, 145s. Next week I'm doing 150. And then before you know it, I'm benching 160, 170, and 180. That is compound interest. You're compounding. You're adding a little bit at a time. Another example of great compound interest is, for example, my parents purchased a house. So I lived in a house and I know what it is to take care of a house and purchase a house. So I'm more likely to go and purchase a house myself. Now, my family has two houses, a house that my parents purchased and a house that I purchased. Eventually, when my father passes away and he's given me all this knowledge and all these things and he's not here anymore, I may inherit that property. Now I have two houses. That is compounding. And I'm going to do the same thing if I have children. I'm going to have two houses. And he's going to see what it is like to have two houses. And hopefully he'll purchase his own house. And eventually when it's my time to go, he'll have three houses. But maybe he's learned that, hey, having multiple properties can actually be beneficial. And it's a great investment. And it could pay for your lifestyle. So maybe he'll learn, hey, daddy has two houses. I want to have three houses. So he'll purchase three houses. And if I pass, he can inherit those. Now he'll have five. And then he'll build on that. That's how he's going to build generational wealth. Hopefully, that is my job, that I can teach him how to do that. That is all great compound interest. Now, let's shift over to how compound interest can work against you. Let's say credit card debt, right? Useless credit card debt. If I buy a bunch of junk that I technically don't need and I continue adding to that, and I get into this cycle of just purchasing and purchasing and purchasing things that I don't need, and I'll add this debt. Eventually, all that interest that I'm going to build is going to take a long time. If I don't wake up, it's going to take a long time for me to pay off. And again, back to the analogy. If my parents just added credit card debt, and that is a lifestyle that I was used to living because that my parents did it, so I'm going to do it. So if I continue that cycle, they're going to have credit card debt. Whenever they pass, they're going to pass whatever debt they have to me. And then whatever debt I have, I may pass on to my children. That's how compound interest can work against you. It can be good or bad. You decide how you want this compounding to work for you or against you. Ultimately, if you go down the path of having bad compound interest of debt and bad life decisions such as eating unhealthy, not going to the gym, not getting the right exercise, watching the wrong things that adds to your bad mental health, it eventually could deteriorate how you choose to live your life. And ultimately it can pass down to your siblings or your children and your grandchildren, all these things. So we have to make a conscious decision to make the right choices. So ultimately making these good decisions takes work. It's hard. It's not easy. The way I started, when I started investing in the stock market, I wanted to be a millionaire. And I was not getting there from one day to the next. So it really made me feel down about myself. But now that I've been doing it for years, I'm not a millionaire yet, but now that I've been doing it for years, it's clockwork. Every single month, I know X amount of my paycheck is going to these investments. Because when I first started, let's say I wanted to put $100 in the stock market, that was a lot to me. I kept telling myself, I don't make enough. I don't have enough. I can't invest. But then after a month, 2 months, and then I saw $100, $200, $300, $400, $1,000, a few thousands of dollars. And I'm like, oh, okay. So after 1 year of doing all these small good decisions, I started to realize, hey, I can do this, and this is going to be part of my life. So now I do these decisions subconsciously. I don't even have to think about how much I'm going to invest, because I know at least I'm going to invest at least X amount every month. Sometimes I make a little bit of extra. Tax season is just finished. Whenever that tax check comes, and let's say, I get a return, instead of me spending my return on going on the next vacation, what I do is I take 50% and hey, I throw in that investment account. Or hey, I'll purchase this course that I want to learn how to be, I don't know, maybe a better gamer, maybe a better YouTuber or something. I learned. That's compound interest. But in conclusion to this video, I just want to add, ultimately, it's your choice. You make the decisions of your life every single day. So make the choice to like the video, subscribe, and share it to your friends. If you don't like it, don't say nothing. All right. See you on the next one. That was good, right?